Hello, my name is Tijani Ahmed, and I'm making a video presentation for my assignment in LEA 807. The title of my presentation is Navigating Diversity, the Role of Leadership in Fostering Diversity and Inclusion in Early Childhood Education. To begin with is the definition of diversity. Various researchers, authors, and writers have defined diversity in different ways. This is because they have come from different field of studies. So they have defined diversity based on their area of expertise, on their area of study. However, Osman 2020 defined diversity as the inclusion of differences within a group. This encompasses differences in race, nationality, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, gender, and gender orientation and sexual orientation. Based on this definition, diversity in leadership therefore involves recognizing and valuing the differences in perspective, the differences in background, as well as the differences in experiences. So people come from different background, people have different perception to things, and they also have different experiences about things. All of these are to be considered by a leader leading any form of organization or leading anything, so that the goal of the team or the goal of the organization can be achieved. Relating this to early childhood education, diversity in early childhood education is a concept that no early childhood educator can shy away from. This is because early childhood education classroom is so diverse. The learners in the classroom come from different homes, different background, from different country, from different nation, from different culture. So the role of an early childhood educator will therefore be to create a safe environment whereby all children or all learners in the classroom feel involved in their education and they also feel respected. This paper is going to enlighten us about uh, the how leaders in early childhood education navigate diversity and inclusion and the strategies they use. However, before that, I'm going to cite examples of two different entities. These two different entities have things in common because they are both global entities. But however, they also have differences. The first difference is the fact that the first company or the first organization did not embrace diversity and inclusion in its organization. That had a negative impact on the organization and therefore led to the downfall of the organization. The second organization embraced diversity and inclusion, and it therefore had positive impact on the organization, and it led to the society accepting them and praising them for that. The first organization that did not embrace diversity is Abercrombie and Fitch. Abercrombie and Fitch has been widely criticized for its lack of diversity and discriminatory practices. This is because as a clothing line, as a fashion-oriented company, they are supposed to consider people of different capacity. They are also supposed to consider people of all races, of all sizes. However, they did not do that. In fact, in 2013, a former employee of the company filed a lawsuit against the company. And the lawsuit is about the discriminatory hiring practices of the organization. The process and how they employ people in the organization is what the former employee took them to court for, filed a lawsuit against them. He found that they were discriminatory in their selection and employment process. Another major thing that contributed to the downfall of this organization is the leadership, the role the CEO played in that part. Some of the utterances of the CEO were seen as discriminatory, and this led to the downfall of the organization. So, Abercrombie and Fitch is an organization that did not consider diversity. It did not embrace diversity, and it led to the downfall of the organization. In contrast to this is Google. Google is recognized for its commitment to diversity and inclusion. In fact, Google took a targeted approach to equity to ensure that everybody working in Google is represented and is involved in the activities of the organization. The annual report of Google on diversity, especially the one in 2022, it showed that the company implemented numerous initiatives to foster diverse workplace. This diverse workplace allows different people from different orientation, different perspective to gather together and work together to achieve the goal of the organization. It took steps such as unconscious bias training. Google was even training people on bias so that they will know that some of the activities that may be seen as bias, they are to avoid them. And also, um, another thing they did was diversity hiring goals. So in their employment process and in their hiring process, they ensured that people of different background were hired. And employee resource group is another thing they did in Google. This employee resource group is a group in which everybody from different orientation, different background, they were together, they were working together to achieve the same goal. This is seen as a thing that should be praised and emulated in all organizations. In fact, Google leadership actively promotes an inclusive culture. They understood the fact that diversity drives innovation and organizational success. So when a company embraces diversity, it is going to lead to innovative practices. This is because people are bringing ideas from different orientation. They are seeing things differently and they are bringing it up. It will lead to innovation and innovative practices, and also organizational success. The success of the organization is the achievement of the goal of the organization. This is also going to ensure that it stresses the importance of the role of leadership in navigating diversity. This is because it was the concise and conscious effort of the leaders of Google that ensures that there is an inclusive practice in Google. So I am going to list three strategies that leaders in early childhood education have practiced that can foster inclusion and diversity in early childhood education. Based on the strategies of Google that has been seen to be successful, the first one is to develop inclusive policies and practice. This entails the creation and enforcement of written policies, making sure that employees follow the guidelines or that fosters inclusion and diversity in an early childhood education setting. The second one is to model inclusive behavior. The role of an early childhood educator is to be a role model to the learners. So when the teacher models inclusion in the classroom, the learners are also going to follow suit. The same thing for the leaders of that organization. When they model inclusion and they embrace diversity, the other teachers are also going to emulate that, and the goal of the early childhood education center is going to be achieved. And the basic goal is to foster learning and an environment that children and learners feel safe and they feel involved. The third one is engaging families and communities. This entails involving parents of the learners in their activities, involving people of the community in the activities that are going on in the early childhood education center. I have been fortunate to work in an organization that had a positive uh, inclusive practice. This is because we have been able to implement a curricula that ensures uh, cultural inclusion, that ensures the inclusion of different cultures into what we are teaching and what children are learning in the classroom. This is done in such a way that learning corners in the classrooms are labeled both in English and the languages of the learners in the classroom. This entails that children feel involved. When they are in those learning corners, they are able to contribute and give explanation, better explanation, because those things are in their language, and they will come up to come and explain and give more explanation to other learners in their group. As an early childhood educator, I believe diversity is a concept that should be taught all round in an early childhood education setting, and it should be embraced. As in the case of Google, we have seen that they embraced diversity and it yielded positive result for them. So if an early childhood education setting, if they embrace diversity and inclusion in the classroom and in their organization, it is going to yield positive result. The listed strategies are some of the strategies that leaders use to navigate diversity and inclusion, and they use these strategies to foster diversity and inclusion in an early childhood education settings. As I wait for your contribution on this and your response on this presentation, I hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope I have been able to do justice to the assignment in a very short, limited time that I've got. Thank you very much.